tried on Friday and it didn't go through, so I'm hoping this time it'll work.
No, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Thank you so much. Do you have any questions to start with before I screen share?
No, I mean, I looked at the files recently. I mean, wasn't able to print them out yet because like my printer's a little wacky right now, but
Yeah, no worries.
I saw some of them, so like most of them, so
Okay.
But that's it, yeah.
And then the main one that I'll need from you by August 28th is the tutor agreement form. And that one's PDF fillable, so you should be able to download it, type the date and your name, and then just email it back to me. And then the other stuff will be like your schedule. One's on Zoom, or what am I talking about? Not on Zoom, on Google Sheets. And then the other one you can just screenshot from, because the other one's gonna be your class schedule, and I'll go over it all during the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And so hopefully you shouldn't have to print anything anytime soon on my end.
I think I do have a question though. It's over a form. Let me get it real quick.
Yeah, of course.
It was the update form, the MESA update form, and I was just wondering, you want us to attach like what do you mean by like evidence of financial aid? Just like anything if we're receiving anything?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah, so on the financial aid tile, if you have a financial aid award through DVC, to just attach a screenshot in your email of that financial aid award for 2020, 2021.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure if it worked this semester because I only took 2 classes in my spring semester. I don't know if that messed it up, but like I don't know, because you sent an email before about like how some of us didn't like apply for financial aid. I don't know if it was like one of them or I don't know, because like my tuition's a lot higher than like past semesters.
Oh, okay. Actually, I can look right now and see if it said you did. What was her name that sent me that email? Zuhal. Let's see. Just give me a sec. Just like a ton of emails from her. Here you go. Okay. So for you, it said, yeah, it says you have no FAFSA on file. So according to the federal work study officer, assistant, she was saying that she did not see a FAFSA from you on the DVC file, meaning that you may not have applied for FAFSA at this time. Now, this will not affect your eligibility for working for us, but it could potentially affect your MESA status. And of course, it would affect you getting financial aid. Yeah. So I'm telling everyone, you do not necessarily have to accept what they award you. You have to, you can, if you for some reason don't want to accept what you get awarded, you can not accept it. Yeah. But I would say no matter what, do the FAFSA. You still have time to be eligible for financial aid. And if for some reason you had issues with your 2019 taxes, they're accepting 2018 taxes.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like I did file a FAFSA like the previous semester. I don't know if it was late and they sent me everything, but then like I never got any updates, and I don't know what happened. I'm assuming either is because I just thought it was weird that I took 2 classes and then like all of a sudden like it was that much when I saw for my summer classes when previous like it was only like 14. So I was like, why such a change? But I did file one, so I was still confused over that. But I guess I'll just file one again.
Yeah, I would say. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I can just go on like the FAFSA website and then just file one?
Yeah, so go on the FAFSA website and it'll say like on the homepage, like your FAFSA for 2020, 2021 has been submitted. And then it'll also say it's been approved. But if you don't see that, something could have gone wrong during like the application when you originally did it. And I would say then you can just refile. And you can refile, and I highly recommend that if you are interested in the federal work study grant, which typically will it'll give you up to 20 hours, so we can give you more hours as a working student. We can give you as many as you want, up to 20. And so that's a pretty decent grant. It's typically around like $2,000 towards your working for the full academic year. So that's a pretty good one. And you just have to select that you're interested in it. And so we do encourage you all to do that if you're comfortable doing it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I was just really confused, and I like at the time I was like, I don't know why like such an increase in my pay. After like I did file one. I don't know what happened, but like I'll for sure file that one really quickly.
Yeah. So yeah, do it again. And then if you see that it has been submitted, I would say contact financial aid at DVC and ask them like, hey, and screenshot it and be like, hey, I submitted this. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I also got like I looked at the emails too, and it said process successfully 2020 2021.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, forward them that. Honestly, I would email, like, you could email Jesus, who's like our guy that we talk to the most, or just like the general financial aid website email, like the one they have is like, I think it's like finaid at DVC. And add that in there and tell them like, hey, it said successfully processed, but I haven't gotten an award, and like it's not on file for DVC.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll for sure do that. So you say Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus Gutierrez is a really good one. It's J Gutierrez, like it's how it's normally spelled. And then at dvc.edu, but I can email it to you too if you are unsure of the spelling.
I think you sent in a previous email because I still had to send him my FERPA form.
FERPA?
So.
Yeah, it's the exact same person for FERPA. And so you could email him, and he's one of the financial aid assistants.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah.
Okay. I think that's it for now, but thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. If you get more questions or something changes during the time that we're on this call, you can just let me know and we can talk about it more. There's plenty of time.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and share my desktop. Okay, so you are seeing what I see hopefully now. So I'm gonna go, this is the one I want to see. Oop, did it too long ago. So just bear with me while we wait for it to load. So we're just gonna go over this. This is the coronavirus edition of this orientation. So, but it's gonna be all pretty new to you since you haven't worked for me previously, which works out because on Friday it was, and the one that didn't save on Friday when I was recording it was rehire. So it's even better because this will be even more relevant.
Yeah.
Turn this off. Over here, that's super loud. Okay, so we're going to talk about what we mean at MESA about professionalism, because there's a lot of definitions that can be very exclusive, and we don't want it to be for all of you. We want you to be true to yourselves. But we're going to talk about, like, there's a couple things that are intuitive, don't do this type of things.
Yeah.
Modeling tutoring behavior. So it said modeling. When it was in person, we actually like physically modeled what to do and what not to do as a tutor. In this case, it's going to be a couple videos. I'm using a Chromebook, unfortunately. I have to get my work computer still. So I won't be able to play the videos with audio for you. So I'm just going to describe them to you. And I highly recommend, if you want to, you have this PowerPoint in that email I sent everyone with like all the files that we were talking about earlier, and you can watch it. It's on YouTube, so it's very easy to access. Okay, so what we mean by professional tutor behavior. Well, one of the aspects, we have two aspects of it. This is the first one. So we want you to be the one that starts conversations, is friendly, is engaging, greeting students. What I mean by greeting students is mostly that you're on the Zoom learning space announcing yourself either verbally or through chat. So it's kind of like whatever you feel is most appropriate for the moment that you enter the Zoom learning space. So if it's like, really busy, or there's another tutor tutoring on the main space, you don't want to interrupt them, you can just announce it on the chat.
Or if it's quiet and you feel it's appropriate, you could verbally announce yourself. And I would just say something simple like, hey everyone, it's like I'll pretend to be a tutor right now. Hey everyone, it's Brittany. I'm tutoring from 3 to 5 p.m. Chem 120, 121. And just something simple to let them know, like, I'm here to help you. Let me know if you need any help, whatever feels comfortable and natural for you to say. So that's the first thing. The other thing is to regularly look up at the screen and be aware of the Zoom learning space. So the reason I say look up at the screen is, say you're in the main space, there's a couple people studying, but no one actively needs your help as a tutor. And we allow you to do your own homework if no one needs your help, because we don't want you to just sit there and have nothing to do and then you're just staring at a blank screen.
Yeah.
You're very welcome to do your own homework and or to study or do whatever. Go make yourself a cup of tea, whatever you want to do. Just make sure that you're near the computer, and every 2-3 minutes you're looking at it, seeing if someone's typed in the chat, seeing if someone new has joined. I highly recommend to everyone that you turn on in the Zoom settings the notification sounds for when someone enters the space, and it's like a little ping type of sound. It's distinctive, and it'll notify you like someone's joined. So say like you're studying and you lose track of time sometimes, of course, or like making tea or something, whatever, and you hear the ping, you can come back to the computer and be like, oh, hey, you know, I'm here doing Chem 120, 121 until 6 p.m. Let me know if you need my help. I'd be glad to help you. Because, yes, some people are going to join the space to be in a breakout room and hang out or to study, or they might just want to hang out and feel like it's a norm, like to mimic the physical space and be like, oh, I'm going to study around other people, because
Hello? Brittany?
like I'm being productive and studying. So we want that virtual space to kind of mimic those types of things and to mimic the physical space. So we have no idea at this point what fall is going to be like. It could be super busy with people just hanging out. It could be super busy with tutoring. It could be really quiet. We don't know yet. We're, of course, hoping it's going to be more busy, but that's just something to keep in the back of your mind until we kind of see what's happening in like August, September.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, be aware of the screen. Limit yourself to 15 minutes per student. Check in with the main space and others in the space. So this is MESA policy, the 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be like, it's been exactly 15 minutes, I set a timer type of thing. It's just like, oh, you're like, okay, we kind of started at 10:15, it's kind of 10:30. I've been helping you one-on-one, and there's a pause because like you finished one problem, and then they ask you, oh, can you help me with this other problem? And you can say to them like, you know, be very nice about it. Be like, hey, it's actually been about 15 minutes. MESA policy requires me as a tutor, before I continue to help you, to go check in with the other students. So you can either verbally check in with them or check in with them via chat and say, give me a couple minutes to check in with people, see if anyone joins, see if anyone needs help. And then if in a couple minutes nobody requests my help, I'll go back to tutoring you. And the idea also is why it says like check in with the main space is lots of times you might go into breakout space if it's really busy in the main space, or if there's more than one tutor in the main space. One of you might go out into the breakout room if you're both tutoring at the same time. And so like you'll have to like leave the breakout room, come back to the main room to announce yourself, hang out for a couple minutes, see if anyone needs your help, and then you can go back to the breakout room with that student who continues to need your help. And then do that every 15 minutes. If the student is rude to you about it, if for some reason they become belligerent or impolite, which very rarely happens, but there's been an occasional student who tries to like become not like aggressive, but they'll be kind of like trying to claim you as their like personal tutor, and that's not what you're doing. You're a peer tutor for all MESA and Friends of MESA students and Puente and Moja if they choose to join in the Zoom learning space. So you're not meant to just help one person. They're not paying you. Like, that's not your job. So if they become aggressive or anything like that, tell them like, hey, not okay. This is MESA policy. If you have a problem with it, here's Brittany's, our program assistant's email and phone number, and you can call or message her and cut it off. Just cut it off and be like, I'm not going to engage with you. This is a hard boundary, and you're being inappropriate. And to contact me or a matri. You could give the matri's contact. But I just like to be the first point of contact because I'm the student assistant, like I'm your guys' student assistant and tutor direct supervisor, and then matri is my supervisor, and she's also your supervisor in that way. And it's not a strong hierarchy. We don't like to have like, oh, you can only do anything with Brittany, or you can only do everything with matri. It's not a strong hierarchy at all. It's just that like authority idea for the students, because I know like when I was doing peer work, which was until very recently, until the end of the spring semester, there is like kind of a difference in like the average student's mind between career staff and student staff, and typically they're very respectful of student staff, but having the ability to be like a career staff member to back you up can be helpful when something goes awry, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's enough about that, unless you have questions. No. And then lastly, maintaining an academic and engaging atmosphere in Discord, Zoom, and social media. So what I mean by Discord and social media, because that came up on Wednesdays, saying they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you are only required to be in the Zoom learning space during your tutoring time. That is what you're paid for. That is your time that you've given us, and that's it. However, we do love that a lot of tutors like have been on Discord and have liked things on like Instagram, for example, which is our most popular platform outside of Discord, and have been like active on their free time, or have been active like when they were supposed to be tutoring and then they didn't have anyone to tutor, then they would go on Discord and answer questions because there's a tutoring chat on Discord, or they'd go and like photos on social media. And that was just really nice to engage students and to create a continuous, coherent community image. Now, again, you are not required to be on Discord. You're not required to follow us on social media. You are only required to be in the Zoom learning space during your tutoring time. But if we would really like it if you find yourself having no one to tutor, and before you start your homework, just do one last little quick check-in on Discord and or Instagram or whatever social media you like, and if you're following us, and like a couple things, comment a couple things, look at Discord, see if there's anything interesting or anything you can help with, check the tutor channel on Discord, and then do your homework, you know, just so it's, you know, so you're spending your time most wisely, and if we do find that you, for a while, have no tutors during your time slot, we'll probably come back and talk to you and be like, hey, this is not a good time slot. We're going to look at your schedule and talk to you and be like, hey, we might ask you to move around. I'm hoping that won't happen, but that is something to keep in mind since, you know, like it is a paid position.
Yeah, okay, for sure. I have a question with the main space. So, is this just where all tutors like congregate basically? Like, are we just gonna stay on that page, and then like, if it's like too noisy or whatever, do we go into breakout rooms with a specific student or something?
Yeah. So the idea is you'll be the host, and so you'll have power over the Zoom learning space in the sense of like you'll be able to create breakout rooms and assign breakout rooms and all that stuff. And you'll be able to share your screen. You'll be able to do all these different things. You'll be able to bring up a whiteboard. And for whiteboards, I am telling everyone to just use whatever app works best for them, because some people are using like an iPad or a smart device. Some people are using like a Microsoft one. Some people are using other types of whiteboard software or like websites. So when it comes to like you trying to show something to someone, you could also hold a physical whiteboard up to the screen as well. Whatever is easiest for you and seems to work out and like help you explain concepts. So that is the hard part, but it's what you want to use. And so you'll be in that was just a side note. So you'll be in the Main space, which is like the regular login, you click on the Zoom link, that's where you get taken to. You'll be the host. You can create a breakout room. If students come to you and they're like, we want to go study, we're all in Chem 120 together. You can create a breakout room and they can go in it. You like assign it to them. You'll say, these 5 students want to go in breakout room number 1. And then another tutor's tutoring with you. And they're like, hey, this student wants to be tutored. Because if there's 2 of you, you don't want, if both of you are tutoring, you can't tutor on the main room, because the main room is just like what we're doing right now, like our audio. So if you had like 4 voices talking right now at once, that would just be so confusing. So you'll put them in a breakout room and they can tutor over there, and you tutor in the main space, and people can just like hang out and be logged in on the main space, and just like listen to you tutor someone if that's what's going on at that moment. And then if people want to come in and they're like, we want to play games or we want to socialize, again, you can put them in a breakout room. So the idea is like the main space is like the main MESA room in the physical space, and then the breakout rooms were like all those study rooms that we had. And you could socialize in those study rooms, you could eat in those study rooms, you could like study in those study rooms. So that's kind of like the idea, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so this video, can't really play it for you. The idea, so it's good that the picture loaded, because the idea is this kid came over to the tutor, and there's 2 tutors, and there's like the tutor that's doing the wrong thing and the tutor that's doing what you should do as a tutor. And this guy has his laptop, and he's like, I'm stuck on this quiz, and he brings it over to her, and she's like, oh no, like you only have 5 minutes to complete this quiz because it was a timed quiz. And she's like, I'll just do it for you. And she literally like just takes the quiz for him. Now, obviously, I don't think any of you would do that, but I do want you to preferably model the second tutor, and she says to him, I'm sorry, I cannot help you cheat or commit academic dishonesty. And once you're done with the quiz, I will go over the problems you struggled on with you. So there's no, I mean, obviously there's no problem. Like if they have taken a quiz and an exam, just like you do, like you discuss it, like most students discuss it after the exam, like, oh, this problem was hard, this problem was, you know, really doable, like whatever. You can help them on the problems that they struggled with. But if you see a student come into the Zoom learning space, and this is just, I'm not heavily concerned about this, but this is just something I want everyone to keep in mind. If they come into the Zoom learning space and they say to you, I'm taking a quiz or I'm taking an exam, can you help me on this problem? Well, then you're complicit in them cheating. And you really just don't want that to happen, because you're helping them commit academic dishonesty, you're going against DVC policy, you're going against MESA policy, and I don't think necessarily that you would get in this like massive trouble where you'd be like kicked out of DVC or anything crazy, but that student, if found out and to have committed this academic dishonesty, could like fail the class, be kicked out of the class. Like there's a lot of very serious consequences for that student. And I know that all of you intuitively would not help someone cheat, but it's just something to keep in mind. Like sometimes like it's a friend or it's someone you really respect who always like is really good in class, and it's just like this one time. Like there's so many ways that we could justify to ourselves doing something that's clearly not the right thing to do. And it doesn't make you a bad person or it doesn't make them a bad person. It's just, you know, they're stressed, they're freaking out, they want to get an A, they want to get a B, whatever. And, you know, there's a lot of situations where that can like not go well and academic dishonesty can happen. So, but what I warn you guys is like, you don't have to, if someone comes to you and they're like, I'm doing this problem, you don't have to be like, is it an exam, is it a quiz, and like interrogate them. It's just something to keep in the back of your mind. If you hear something or you have this like weird feeling like they are rushing you in some way and it feels like they're cheating or something crazy like that, and if you feel that way, you could either take the initiative and ask them, or you can come to me and you'll have my phone number and it's later on in the screen. You can always text me or email me and be like, I feel like the student in the space is like maybe cheating or doing something that's like not right, and I could always log into the Zoom space and then be like and talk to them, you know, if
Yeah.
you feel not comfortable doing it yourself. I don't expect that to happen, but just in case, we have to go over it. Okay. Any questions so far?
No, this seems pretty clear. So.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Sorry, I'm talking. It's more fun with the videos, but I'm super sad I have this Chromebook and I didn't realize it has very few Zoom capabilities. So for fundamentals, I'll just quickly go over it. This one's a really good one. This is the one I most recommend that you watch on your own time. It's like 2-3 minutes. And I'm just going to, for this one, I'm just going to, because you won't be able to hear the audio on your end. I'm just going to go over what he says in the video. So points to remember. Many students struggle with elementary concepts. What they mean by elementary concepts is maybe you have done like, you know, like Calc 1, Calc 2, whatever. You're like more advanced in math, and this student is struggling with like an Algebra 1, Algebra 2 type concept, or like basic trig or something. And many students struggle with this, especially in pre-calc and Calc 1 and stuff. But like in general, you know, we always are forgetting, like, maybe we haven't used this like algebra concept in like 2 semesters and we don't really remember it. And you are not expected to be perfect and remember everything either. But if you do know it, just be very compassionate and thoughtful, because you do not want to be like, oh, that's easy, like, yeah, and like make them feel dumb or like uneducated. Yeah. I mean, like, again, it's intuitive. All of you are, of course, very nice people, but it's just something like, even a couple of our current rehires, like, I've caught them and had to remind them, be like, hey, I know you're enthusiastic. I know, like, you don't mean it to come across this way, but you can't be like, oh my gosh, that's so easy. Let me, and they're like doing enthusiastic. They're like, I can show you how to do this. And they but it's just never nice to be like, that's easy. And it just makes people feel like dumb, and they're gonna like, and when people don't feel empowered and intelligent, they are significantly less likely to learn and remember and retain information. And the whole point is for us to help them. So that's just something to remember. Be nice about it. And if you find yourself wanting to say the word easy, say that's doable, and that's a good alternative word to replace the word easy in your vocabulary for like this particular situation. And that's something I've worked on too, like being like, okay, no, this is a doable problem. And like it's helpful, and it's less, it's not going to make people defensive. So as a tutor, you should help students even with basic concepts, or you should help students with whatever you can help students with. And if you find yourself not remembering something, that's totally okay, because you're a human being and you don't remember everything either, and you're not, you know, faculty who, you know, reviews the same class every semester and, you know, knows everything, hopefully, but even they forget stuff. So, you know, don't feel upset with yourself if you forget something. It's totally okay. Try to look at like your notes or your textbook or whatever you use, because like all of our tutors typically have like notes from past semesters, or they have a textbook left over that they maybe purchased, or they use Google and have like some stuff saved on their computer. So try your best to help the student. If you truly can't help the student and like no other tutors on during that time, that's okay. Just tell them like, I'm so sorry, I can't remember this concept either. But this other tutor is doing Math 191 as well. And like, so try to come back when they're on here, and maybe they can help you further. And again, if they become rude to you, cut them off. Say you can contact our MESA program assistant or our director and give them more information. And then, of course, just to reiterate, treat every student and every question with respect. Treat every question as like an important question. No question is silly or stupid, or no question is, quote, super easy and you should know how to do it. Okay. So communication. I hear how it goes off twice. Journal communication, virtual staff meetings, Jibble, Google Sheets, peer communication. So for general communication, what I mean is make sure you check your chosen email regularly. excuse me. So if the email I currently have been sending you stuff on is not your best email, let me know and tell me that's not my best email. Here's my better email. And that if that changes at any time during the semester, let me know as well. Make sure we have a best contact phone number. That is in case there's an emergency situation. For example, we've had people miss a shift, a couple of shifts, and not tell us. And we start to get worried about you, and you don't answer your emails. You're more likely to answer a phone call. However, what's more important for me and more likely to happen is that you have an emergency and you can't tutor, or something's going on and you need to tell me about it. I want you to have my cell phone number, because we're obviously not in the physical office at this time. So my office number won't be like the best contact. So my phone number is good. You can text me or call me, either one works. And that's my number. And super kind of easy because it's just like 0123. So you can always call me. And then it's best if you give us like at least 24 hours, 48 hours, as long as you can give us about like something coming up, like maybe you go on a trip, or maybe you're going to a conference, or I don't know, whatever goes on. You can email me that, and that would be better in an ideal situation, because I want to be able to post on like Instagram or Discord or whatever, like, hey, you know, you're not going to be here today. So be like, Natalia's not going to be here today for her shift from 4 to 6 on Tuesday. She'll be back on Thursday, you know, whatever. So yeah. Any questions?
No. It seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. This part's pretty straightforward. The only part that might be confusing is when we get to Jibble. So finals week, I'll try to make it not be midterms or anything. But we'll figure it out, whatever's like the best time for you. Because you are a new hire, you're going to go through something that we talk about later, which is a probationary period. So that will be the reason we meet once. And then at the end of the semester, I'm trying my best to meet with every tutor. Because of the virtual space, I don't get to regularly see you in person. I don't get to check in with you. I don't get to just be like, hey, how's it going? So I would like to meet with you to discuss like if you would like to work the next semester, which is very important, as well as what was like best practices, or what was, you know, most useful, what you saw like didn't go so well as a tutor. So I mean, of course, like you're always welcome to email me, but this will be like a one-on-one thing. And then we'll also have a general meeting. So like we had a general meeting for the summer tutors like back in July, and it was like the week that they stopped tutoring or the week after. And so it's just like, again, it will be before winter break, before finals. We'll have like a general meeting probably the week before, and I'll check in with you guys. It'll just be like a short thing, again, to get the whole group, and you guys can talk with each other and discuss like, again, what went well, what went poorly, that sort of thing. So we can make adjustments for spring. And of course, hopefully by like November, December, we'll know what January onward will look like, what the next semester will look like. So yeah, and I'll send a survey about availability probably like in September. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 videos about it. The first video has audio, but you don't need it to like get the gist of it. So you're going to sign in at the start of your shift, and the rehires will know that in person we used to use a red binder and those pieces of paper for the entire month. And because you are, as you'll see in a minute, we'll go into more detail about how you're paid, but you are paid monthly, and that's just, I don't know what it is, but that's like the norm for all colleges and universities is monthly. So it used to be a month-long sheet, and you would have to either have the program assistant, the director, or if neither of them were there, a fellow tutor sign off that you came, because there was in the past some issues with people saying they worked their normal shifts, but actually they didn't show up or they didn't stay as long and they like were, you know, being paid for not working. So that's unfortunately, because that did happen in the far, you know, a couple years ago, that means that we have to have you sign in and out. And actually that's become DVC policy as well due to the pandemic and the virtual realm. So we chose Jibble. That I felt was, it's free, it's super easy. You do have to make an account. It's a free account. It's just like your email. But it's also, you can download it as an app on your phone or device, or you can use the web browser. So I just thought it was the most user-friendly one. And you'll see from the videos, I think it's very simple to like click on and click out. So as always, I recommend giving yourself at least 15 minutes. I would say give 30 if you can, between the end of your shift and the start of your class, or the end of your class and the start of your shift. Because you want to be able to, you know, do whatever you need to do, drink water, stretch, get out of that chair, between different, you know, Zoom sessions or whatever you're doing, and just be able to give yourself that mental ability to like change from student into tutor and tutor into student. And then we'll go over the Google Sheet. We're asking you to do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to always be 100%, but do your best to get the number of tutees and visitors as well as their names on the Google Sheet. Now, I will again go over it. It's up here on these tabs. I'll go over what that means and what it looks like. But I recommend doing this every single shift or at least every week, and to give yourself some time during your shifts to do this, because the likelihood of you remembering, unless you're writing it down on a piece of paper or in like a Google Doc or something, the likelihood of you remembering who was there on Monday and it's now Friday, you know, that's very low. Okay, so any questions before I go into the Jibble? Okay. So to Jibble in and out, you're going to click that blue button, and he's saying you have to be on the dashboard option to be able to click it. You should probably only see yourself, but it's fine if you can see everyone else. Just make sure you click on your own name. And that's it. It'll tell you the time. It'll tell you the date. You can add a note if there's something unique, like you have had to leave 30 minutes early. You can write left 30 minutes early for this shift, because really this is for both of us to use for the monthly timesheet. So you can confirm in, confirm out, and that's it. You just click between in and out, and make sure you click this blue, what is that called? Hourglass button. So, and then you can see, if you go to timesheet, you can see, let me see if he goes to it actually. You can view your daily timesheet, or you can view your monthly timesheet, or your weekly as well. And so I thought this was useful because, and you can edit it as well as what he's showing here. You can edit the time, or delete it if for some reason it didn't work. You could also do in and out from that point. Oops. Sorry, it's like thing came up. Okay, so the point about this one is on the timesheets, you have weekly or monthly. And what's cool about that and so it's up to you how you do it. I greatly recommend doing it weekly if you're able to, because again, you can compare it to Jibble just for the week. You'll have fresh in your memory what you did that week, versus like if you come back and it's the 27th or the 23rd or whatever date that your timesheets due, because you always have to project like the last few days or the last week of the month. You'll have to project what hours you're going to work just because of how it's done at DVC. It's a bit hard sometimes to remember 3 weeks prior. So I do recommend doing it weekly, but it is due by a certain date, and each month I will let you know what that date is, and I will send you reminders, and I will tell you, hey, it's due in like 5 days, so make sure you get your hours in so I can approve them.
Okay, so this is like our check-in, correct?
Yeah, this is like a check box.
Okay, so I do it just like each time I tutor, and like just from like the start to the end, and then I mean just to show you that like we've been working those hours.
Yeah, so it's for me and you. So how it works, and I'll just explain it to you right now. So how it works is, like, first of all, here's what your day would look like in terms of what you have to do on our end. You have to go to Jibble, to either the app or the desktop, and you have to Jibble in. And Jibbling in is just pressing the in button, and it starts counting down. You can close the tab out, you can close the app, it should still keep rolling. And if something happens and you log in and you log back in, or not log back in, but you load it again to Jibble out, and it's like doesn't show that you ever Jibbled in, you can always like email me and be like, I definitely worked these 2 hours, and I trust you all. I believe you're all, telling the truth at all times. I completely trust all of you. So I'm just going to be like, okay, sorry that happened. Let's look into this, and so it doesn't happen to you again, so you don't have to every day email me. But yeah, like if that happens, don't worry about it. Just email me and I'll be like, cool, good to know, for when you do your monthly timesheet. So you Jibble in, you're good to go. You go to the Zoom tutoring link, you're doing your tutoring thing, you're doing whatever, and then your shift is over and you Jibble out. And for Jibbling out and Jibbling in, try to make it not more than 5, maximum 10 minutes early or late, because we only can pay in 15-minute increments. So if you're 15 minutes late, then you're not actually, then you need to, if you're like 11 minutes late, you're closer to 15 minutes. And so you should really input your hours as like 9:15, and you might as well just take those 4 minutes and start 4 minutes late, or start 15 minutes late. Don't just try to find a space where you're hopefully rarely being late in general, but definitely not more than like 5 minutes on average. And if you find yourself being late, I'll maybe notice and talk to you, or you should notice yourself and just email me and be like, hey, I actually want to change my hours to like 9:15 or 9:30 instead of 9 a.m. because I'm actually like struggling to be ready on time or whatever. And that's totally fine. Like, your hours are changeable because we want you to be comfortable tutoring. You don't need to be like it. The idea is it's a student position. This might be your first position. I mean, some of the students it is, and we do not want to put added stress onto your already, busy lives. And so we want it to be a professional situation, so you gain those job skills, but we also want to be compassionate and kind and considerate, and for you to be able to have control over your schedule, in a general sense. But we also have to keep in mind that there are students that you're serving, and so like we can't be changing it every week. So there's a lot of factors to this. But yeah, so you Jibble in, Jibble out at the end of your shift, and do the 2T visitor log. And
Okay.
ideally every shift, but if you can't do it every shift, try to do it when you can, and try to be as accurate as possible. But we'll go over that a little bit more in a minute, in a few minutes, I mean. So yeah, for Jibble, you will make an account. I'm going to send another email again. I was planning on doing it today to everyone with the Jibble link, because not everyone's joined, and I know a couple people said they lost the email, which is not a big deal. I send a lot of emails. So it's okay if you don't know the link, and I'll send it to you all again. This I recorded on my own phone, of what the app looks like. So this is on a, what do you mean app? No! Okay, well, it was working on Friday. That's weird. I'm sorry. So the app is basically the same as this. That's really frustrating. The only difference is, like, on the app, it's at like all this is at the bottom. And so all you have to do is click like Jibble in, Jibble out, or timesheet. And those are probably the only two that you'll ever really need to use. And it looks the same. It just looks like an app. And that's really frustrating. And I wonder, I mean, you can see home, and home it just shows like this, and you can like literally just press the little play button and then the stop button for dribbling in and out. I think it's easier on the app because it's just one button on the home screen. Or you can go to in and out if you want to add like notes to it. It'll look like the other screen. And then if you go to log, it'll show you your log for the day. And if you go to timesheet, it'll show you your day, week, month. So it's basically the same. I think the app's really easy. It should be available for iOS and Android. I have iOS because I have iPhone X. I'm wondering if I realized on Friday I had audio with this and I didn't mean to. And I'm wondering if I got flagged for that. That might be why it disappeared over the weekend. Sorry about that. I have to re-record it, make sure there's no audio. Okay. All right. Any further questions about all the things I've talked about, which is a lot?
So it's just like, okay, so before like my, I guess like tutoring schedule or like my work time, so I just jibble in and then just like, I don't have to like do anything. It'll just record the time and then like just go back and jibble out. And we'll send that to you like at the end of the week or
No, I'm the Jibble account holder, so I just go and look at it.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to do anything, and that's the part that I was hoping would be nice for all of you, is like press the in and out button, press the out button, and that's all you have to do each shift. And then I go and look at your logs, and I'm not stressing about your logs necessarily. I'm stressing about your timesheet that you submit on Insight, which I will show you again how to do, just because like you haven't seen it yet. And I'm going to go to your Insight and I'm going to compare it to Jibble. And that's like the part that we used to have this like physical binder, and that's what we would do is like compare a piece of paper to your timesheet. Instead, I'm going to be comparing your Jibble logs to your timesheet. But it's also for you to submit your timesheet, because if you do decide not to do it weekly, you decide to do it monthly, which is fine. That's your choice. It's, it's up to you. But again, like say something happened the first week of school and for some reason, like you missed your shift or you had to end it 30 minutes early. And if you had nothing to compare it to, you might forget. And believe me, I have done that and forgot that, like, oh yeah, I took this day off, or oh yeah, I had to leave or come late. So, it's just for you also to be able to accurately reflect that, and then to be able to like compare to your timesheet and make sure that you're also getting all your hours in. Because there's been times where students forgot their own schedule and they like submitted, like they did work and I knew they worked and they like forgot to submit it. So then like they actually got paid less if I hadn't caught that. So there's just like a lot of goofiness that can happen when you're busy and stressed, and especially when it's like, midterms or something, and so it's just for your sake and my sake.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'm going into detail for you since you're a new hire. I'm also going into detail because I was recording it, and he emailed me today. Did you record it? And I was like, I'm so sorry. Fridays did not save. So I'm going into detail for both those reasons, but I'm hoping this one will save. So peer communication. Make sure that you are not socializing with friends and fellow tutors or student assistants during your work shift. This is probably easier when you're online, but you never know, like if there's another tutor or that your friends or like peers are on Zoom learning space. So if you're having like a personal conversation and they're like, hey, because everyone starts like, hey, how are you doing? How's your classes? Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's totally fine. Like, don't be like, I can't talk to you at all. But, like try to keep it short and be like, hey, I'm doing well. My classes are, X, Y, Z. Like, be honest, of course. Have personal connections. Have friendships. But, be like, it's been 5, maybe at most 10 minutes. I need to bring the conversation down and let them know, like, hey, And make sure you check in at the beginning and let people know you're tutoring. And that also helps if someone comes and like, I need your tutoring help right now. Like, I'm here just for you. That also enables you to like cut those personal conversations short because you're like, I have a tutor. I have a tutee, I mean. So that's just something to keep in mind. We're not going to like stress about it. I will be logging in kind of randomly on the Zoom learning space, checking things out, helping you all if you run into issues. Checking up like just for my own sake, seeing how busy it is, seeing like if we need more or less tutors during shifts. So I'll be kind of doing that the beginning of the semester. So I'm not like trying to scare you, like I'm going to be watching you, but I'll just be trying to like help. So if you see yourself like running into any issues, like you can email me and ask me to log in, or if you see yourself like, you know, this one student's always trying to socialize with you, I can like talk to them one-on-one or whatever. Again, any issues you run into, I'm here to help.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you're using appropriate language. What I mean by appropriate language is not that we absolutely do not want you to talk differently than you would normally talk or speak or pronounce things or whatever. I do not want you to be like stiff and uncomfortable and like paranoid about any of that stuff, because like there's like some really big issues with the idea of professional or appropriate language. But what we mean by that is literally just this. Please be careful about cursing and your gender language or like phrases used that could be kind of like racialized or inappropriate. That's what we mean. So like we're like, just think about, like, just again, be thoughtful and be like, make sure you're not like, again, I'm not worried about any of our tutors doing this, but like, it's a reminder. Be careful about like phrasing of things or like cursing, because I know like especially like in like when you get comfortable with people, like you might find yourself accidentally saying a word, and like we want to avoid like the big curse words, you know?
Yeah.
That's hopefully clear. Professional communication style is the same thing the same thing as appropriate language. Just like be careful with all that stuff. Appropriate volume levels. Some people get really loud. We get enthusiastic, especially, or excited. So like make sure that you're not just like you're monitoring how loud other people get. So you can be like, hey, you're getting a little loud, or hey, there's a lot of background noise. Do you mind muting yourself? Or asking the people around you to be a little bit quieter because you're creating a lot of background noise on the Zoom learning space. But also regulating if you get too loud. Yeah, because there's been a couple of tutors who are very, very loud and enthusiastic, and that's awesome, but it's definitely even more disconcerting when you're on like this tiny Zoom audio situation. Again, reiterating, focus on tutoring students over your own schoolwork, but you may do your own schoolwork between tutoring tutees. Just make sure you follow what we all talked about on the professionalism aspect, which was checking up on the screen every few minutes, all that stuff. Oh, and again, the other thing with like appropriate language is also like appropriate storytelling. So be careful about talking about doing illegal activities, under 21, doing things that you shouldn't be doing under 21, technically. You just never know who's like on these Zoom spaces, and you just want to be careful about what you say and do in these spaces. But I'm not like, it's not like the biggest deal in the world if you're like, okay, let's pretend it wasn't COVID. And you're like, I went to a party this weekend, or I had a couple drinks with a friend. Like, that's fine. Just like try to be careful about like talking about
those kinds of things. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And if you hear people talking about, because this happened, we had students like in this situation, I had to report it this time. It was very uncomfortable when I was a student assistant. I had to report it to Clarice, who was the program assistant at the time. And there was like it wasn't tutors, but it was like students talking about like pornographic material and stuff in this like physical space. And that was very uncomfortable. And I personally was like not sure like how to address those students, other than like I looked at them and was like, hey, this is inappropriate.
Yeah.
And then I went and told Clarice who those students were, because we don't want to like attack students, but if you see students talking about things that are inappropriate in the main space or like on Discord or in any situation that you're around other students, please like let me or Matri know, or email both of us and let us know, because we want to be able to tell those students, like, we're not going to be like, oh, you're in trouble or anything awful like that. It's just going to be like, hey guys, like, maybe you didn't realize this, but this is really inappropriate conversation material for a shared space. This is something like you talk to with your friends. If you want to talk about this stuff with your friends, go for it, but don't do it in a shared space. Don't do it around other people. None of these people consented to hearing about that, and that's not cool, you know? So let us know if that happens. Okay. Man, I'm talking so much. Any questions?
No, I'm good right now.
Cool. I feel so bad when there's no videos and you're by yourself and it's just like me talking at you. So for the probation period, this is important because you're a new hire. And the probation period, like, that sounds super scary sometimes to new hires. But what we mean by this is it's really a time for you to learn the ins and outs of tutoring, and this really strange tutoring of being entirely online for the fall semester, and that's a unique situation in and of itself, and somewhat of a different skill set. And then on top of that, it's for you to adjust. Like, maybe you say to us, I would like 10 hours of work, and we're able to give you 10 hours of work, and then you realize, actually, that's too much for me. I need to drop it down to 5. And that's okay. Like, that's totally fine. Or maybe you're doing 5 and you're like, hey, maybe there's some space for me to do a couple hours more. Like, do you guys have the budget for that? And we can address it and be like, yeah, we do. Let's give you 7, or whatever. That's just an example. But the whole point is for you to adjust to the situation and get confident and gain those skills and feel comfortable and not be afraid to stay at because we're going to have a self-evaluation and an evaluation. You and I will have an evaluation. And at that month, if you're like, I don't feel at all like comfortable in this position, or like it's too much for me, or, you know, like, or maybe you're just like, everything goes perfect and like you love it and you're like, oh, I'm loving this position. And that's our whole conversation is about like what's going well. And like, it doesn't have to be negative stuff. It can be positive stuff. You know, it can be anything. And it's just that space for you to grow and learn, because I don't want it to be scary, like, yeah, if you're not doing perfectly, we're going to fire you at this probationary period. No, like, you're hired for the semester. So unless something major happened, where like you were doing some like really awful stuff, which of course you're not going to do, you're set for the semester. It's just for you to be able to have that like probationary period of like adjustment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a learning process since I'm new. Like, I don't know how, like, what will be going on. I only have an idea, but I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Because I know like other probationary periods, like it's very common to have a probationary period nowadays, and that probationary period is actually like if you are not following the expectations of the position, you will be let go. And it will be the same process as if you had been working there for whatever. And sometimes they're like 6 months to a year. They can be excessively long. And that's like just a thing that's happening right now, and it's very common. Ours is 1 month, and it's not meant to be like, we'll let you go. I mean, of course, if you're really not doing your job and like you're really struggling, we want to talk about that. And if we both feel that like you're not able to do the position, then like that's a different conversation. But yeah, okay, just you get it. So yeah, this is required for all first-time hires. After the semester, it will never be required again, but we will have that end of semester meeting with rehires. We talked about all that stuff. I really emphasized it. So your self-evaluation, that's going to be in your MESA employee packet. I have it brought up here. I'm going to show it to you. Your packet in this case is sent an email. This evaluation will be around 4 weeks into the semester, which would be, it depends on when you're getting, when your tutoring schedule starts. I'm hoping it'll start the second week of school. There is something I've had to tell everyone, which is that you're in the system on our end as tutors, but your paperwork hasn't been confirmed that it was sent to district office, which means that you might not have the student employee tile on your Insight to submit hours if you're a new hire. So rehires were processed a couple weeks ago. New hires, I'm hoping, will be processed this week because school starts next week. And so I'm hoping that you guys will all be in the system by, at the very latest, the first week of September. And if I see that you're not in by the end of this week, I'm going to have to contact payroll next week on Monday, the 24th, when classes start, because like we've never had this issue of it's not like us, it's not you guys, you all submitted your paperwork plenty of time. It's the fact that like because of this weird pandemic, not everything's being approved exceptionally slowly, like crazy slow. And so it's nothing you guys can do about it. There's not really honestly much we can do about it, but we're going to try to like make sure we push for it. And we've contacted like payroll and like the district office, and we're like, hey, we need these tutors, we need them now. And so we're going to keep pushing. And I would say don't stress about it anytime soon, but I'll be in contact with you all next week about if you can see it, the Insight student employee tile or not. And I will show you what that looks like on Insight so you know what to look for. It's like a blue tile, and I'll go over it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, back to the self-evaluation. You're going to complete the self-evaluation around 4 weeks into when you started working, which will be, I'll check in with you about like when you have big exams, and I'll make sure it's not during the week you have a big exam. So yeah. Hopefully like before or after midterms. So it'll be approximately.
Oh, sorry, I cut you up. But I was just wanted to say, luckily one of my teachers already like sent what days we'll have exams, so.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, so like I will be checking in on with you individually, and I'll be like, hey, your week 4 is coming up. Would this week be a good week? And you can say back to me yes or no, and then of course give me like a better week. And so it doesn't have to be perfectly 4 weeks, but it'll be around 4 weeks.
Okay.
And the supervisor evaluation, so you'll fill out the self-evaluation, you'll email it to me for the supervisor evaluation, and we'll go over what I think, because I will be like, again, randomly logging in to kind of like watch what you're all doing and like checking out stuff, and I don't want you to stress out and be like, it has to be perfect. I'm just going to say like, if you're in the Zoom learning space, see how it's going, kind of see, you know, what I'm noticing. The supervisor evaluation, it's just going to be a lot less in depth because it's online, and I'm not at my, you know, the office, as you know, like the office is like right next to the space, and like, you know, past program assistants were able to like go into the space and hang out a lot and interact a lot, and I just don't get that opportunity at this time. So it will be a little bit more based on what you think than what I think. Okay, so here's the fun part, time entry and getting paid. So this is what I was talking about with time entry. So payment, go away. You'll get paid on the 10th of every month. So all hours worked, for example, September 1st through September 30th, will be paid to you in one lump sum on October 10th. If October 10th hypothetically was a Saturday, you would be paid the Friday before. So you'll be paid the day of the week, of course, can fall any day of the week, but if it's a Saturday or Sunday, you'll be paid on the Friday before. So the paychecks, actually, I wrote this down, but actually I should have updated this. The paychecks were being mailed in spring semester once we went into the online format. They were being mailed to students' home address. So as far as I know, that's going to continue to happen. If for some reason that doesn't happen and you don't get a paycheck, it could be being held at the cashier's desk across from financial aid in the student services building. And you would email me like, hey, I've never received my paycheck. It's like, you know, the 10th or the 15th or whatever day. You need a couple days for mail to get in. And let me know, and I will contact payroll and confirm if it's at the cashier's desk or what's going on with that, or if it's been mailed to you and it's just taking a while for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, I highly, highly recommend doing direct deposit. I don't know if you did sign up for it. I didn't like look at your paperwork right before this, but definitely recommend direct deposit because you will be paid exactly on the day and it'll go right into your debit card or whatever account you have. And so I recommend, like, if you do have your own bank account, to do that.
Yeah, I didn't fill it out because I wasn't sure if we'd go over it here, but like I for sure want to do direct deposit rather than check.
Okay.
So should I fill it out and then send it to you?
Yes. So fill it out and send it to me. If you still have your packet, it was like one of the pages, I think towards the end of the packet.
Yeah.
You can just save that one and
Okay.
just use that one page. Yeah, I really recommend it. I'm very glad I have it. But yeah, and sometimes I don't see this happening, but if something goes on in like your first paycheck, it could be a paper check mailed to you and then direct deposit would happen after that. But actually when I signed up for it as a student assistant, my first paycheck was direct deposit. So that's like a 50-50. I don't know if you will have to go through that. So time entry, instead of showing you these videos, I have these videos embedded in this for all of you. This is on YouTube. It's an unlisted video on our MESA account for you all to look at. But instead of showing it to you, I'm just gonna go, and this was on my phone back in the day. I'm just going to show it to you here. So this is the end of the PowerPoint, and then we're just gonna go into a couple more details about like insight and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so 4CD. Okay, so I'm going to go into my student account. So it will look like what you will see in your account. Hopefully, yes, I do still have that blue tile. Okay, awesome. So this is what the regular account looks like that you're logged into. You do not need to go to employee. Employee is for hourly and full-time staff. Your student employee tile is on your regular Insight. So if for some reason your profile doesn't look normal, just make sure you don't need guest, you don't need employee, you just need your student profile. And student employee looks like this, blue tile. Student, and it just says EMP. This is what it looks like. It has like a little badge symbol. That's your student employee tab. You click on it. The fact that you have if you do have a blue student employee tab, that means you're in the system, and that means you can start getting your time entry in and then getting your paychecks. So you have a bunch of options. You have tax information, which won't be important until 2021 for when you submit taxes. So your W-2 is really the one you need. The 1098 is if you're a student and you receive financial aid and stuff, you might have a 1098. This will be mailed to you via snail mail, but you can also access it here. And I believe the first time you click on your W-2 statement, it will load a new page, and it will ask you to give electronic consent. And so you have to give consent to receive your W-2. And it stores all of your W-2. So if for some reason you need to see say you need to see 2020 and it's now 2022 in the future, you can see it. I wish there was a way to like move this tab. Okay. Stop. I hate this computer. Okay. Let's go back to this one. Okay, sorry about that. So that's important stuff that you'll need for the future. You can see your earning statements and your leave summary. Does that load the other? Okay, we'll just load it one at a time. Again, it loads new stuff. So this is how much I've accrued in sick leave. So that means I could get 11 paid hours of sick leave. And I do recommend that once you've accrued enough, or you've accrued what feels like is a good amount, that you use it, because it's paid sick leave that you get as a student assistant. And it's very low accrual rate, as you see. But you max out at 48 hours, so I mean, it would take a while to get there, but make sure you use this up. And then your earning statements, it will show you every single month that you've been paid, and it'll show your complete history, which is really cool, and it will download as a PDF once it loads. It'll download as a PDF, so it goes back, like, you can go back, like, I have all my years here since I've been here since 2018, and you can see all of them. And this will give you a lot of good information. So if I go, this is my last payment as a student assistant, and it downloads with your student ID number. And this is really useful because it gives like the amount you got paid that period. So this was like how much I was paid for that working time. This was how much I was paid to that year, to that date. This tells me my federal withholding, so what I chose, and what you chose when you did your application. Tells you what like position you're in, what that time period was. So it was May 1st to May 31st, and I was paid on June 10th. Tells me how many hours I worked that entire month, what my pay rate is, etc. So your pay rate is $13.50 an hour as a tutor. It increases every year by $1, and that's California state changes. It's not DVC. So in January 2021, you would be paid $14.50, and I believe it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna be every year. I know the law that passed was at least through $15. Anyway, I digress. Taxes aren't too bad on this. You get federal taxes removed, and some workers' compensation taxes. It's really not that bad. So like for a $700 paycheck, it was $38. So it's like less than like a part-time position would be. So that's kind of nice. It's a little bit on the lower side, but still you get taxes taken out. So yeah, I think that's everything to keep in mind about that. And then this is how you do time entry. And there are instructions here, and the instructions like a PDF that you can look at.
Okay.
All right, so that's everything that you can see as a student assistant, and then you're gonna have a time entry. And yours, you know what? Let me go over to this one, because this is, no, where is it? Oh my God, this thing is so much in the way. Did I close it out earlier? Oh, maybe I closed it. Okay. Anyway, it was going to be useful because I had like loaded everyone's time entry, and it would show you what yours should say, but whatever. This won't say PX because you're not an hourly employee. It'll say like SX for student employee or something like that. And it will say student employee. And it will say your position here. So it should say like MESA tutor or student tutor or something like that. But this part is the same. This is what yours will look like. It will say the week, and it starts in August and ends the last day of August, and it will show you how many hours you put in for that day. And like August 1st was a weekend. I obviously didn't work. You still need to hit submit. So make sure you submit every single week and make sure all of them say submitted.
Okay.
I will show you what like this week for me looked like. So it will say here, it will say some information about like, it'll say your position ID. Yours will be D1050 something. I can't remember the last three are. It'll say D1050 some stuff, and it'll say student tutor or MESA tutor or something like that. And then it'll say, I think this is Matri. It might say Despina, which is the DVC math dean. It might say her name instead. It'll say like DVC Math, Diablo Valley College, because we're under that position ID. So I believe it'll say that. It could say DVC MESA. I'm not sure. You guys will have to tell me, because sometimes it says different stuff. So your earn type will be student worker, and it will look like this. And I'm going to return this time card to edit, so I can show you what it looks like. Okay. So this is what it would look like. It would be all blank. It would look like this one right here. And you will add hours. Say you worked Friday, and you say you worked 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's it. That's like it. You worked, I don't know, 6 p.m. to 7
I'm sorry, but like you completely like cut off, so I couldn't catch what you said. I just heard 1 to 4, and then it just went quiet after that.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
That's weird. Okay. So what I was saying was, say you work 2 shifts, for like that doesn't happen super often, but say you work 2 shifts in the same day. And I was saying like here, like I had lunch or whatever, and you can delete it if you don't have 2 shifts with the minus button, but you can do a plus button and put in a second shift. So say you worked 5 to 7, you can do that. And say then like you all of a sudden you're going through, you look at your Jibble and you're like, oh wait, I didn't actually work that second shift on Friday. I took it off. I had to go to an appointment or I was sick or whatever. You can then just easily click the minus button and it's gone. However, you can't click the minus button for the top one. You just have to highlight and delete for whatever reason.
Okay.
And if you accidentally only delete one of them, it'll highlight and it'll like warn you like, hey, you have to delete both of them. Like, maybe if I do like 11 a.m., this will show you. It'll come up with this right here and it'll be like, you can't submit it for approval because this is not a fully filled out timesheet.
Okay. So I do this every week?
You can do it every week. It is due by a certain date towards the end of the month.
Okay.
I will tell you guys that date. It will average, the average it will be is like, it'll be always be like a Friday. So like hypothetically, I will tell you right now what it would be for September. For September, it would be like the 25th.
Okay.
Would probably be the date that I asked you guys to turn it in. I might ask you to turn it in, yeah, because it'd be like the 25th. I usually ask you to turn it in on a Friday, like the 25th at 11:59 p.m. or something like that. I'll ask you to have it in because then like the following day, or it might be a Thursday and then I check it on Friday, because then like the following day or the following Monday, I will have to look at it and I have to approve it, and then I approve it, and then
our dean approves it, and then payroll pays you. So there's 2 layers of like or like 3 layers of approval, I think. There's like me, the dean, then payroll, and then payroll pays you. So it's like so many layers of like confirmation, and they have to have it confirmed by the end of the month, because then they have to give themselves the 10 days to cut the paycheck and all that stuff, and for them to approve it and whatnot. So like I'm going to show you when I go back to the pay timesheet, there'll be a date there. That's not the date that you guys will be due, because I need you to submit it to me before that date so I can approve it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you can do it weekly or you can do it monthly. I just recommend weekly because your memory will be better most likely. But here's what it'll look like. It'll say unsubmitted. You'll submit for approval. Do not leave me comments here. That's for payroll. Ignore the comment section. If you need to leave me a comment, do it as a note in Jibble or email me. So this will be like, it'll be like this. You can't edit it. You have to return time card to edit before the due date to be able to edit it. You can see all the hours you worked, see the total that you worked that week. They'll say submitted here. You can skip along to other weeks by clicking this button. There's a lot of stuff you can do in here. It's fairly intuitive, I will say. It's not like the most straightforward thing ever, but it's like, it's definitely something that's you'll get the hang of. And so you'll see like due by 8/26/2020 11 p.m. That will not be when yours is due. Yours will be due like 3 days before, or like what day is the 26th? The 26th is a Saturday. So I'll be like, or no, that's not right. the 26th is a Wednesday. So I might say to you, yours is due August 21st, which is a Friday, because then that gives me Monday and Tuesday to approve it. Because I have to have this date. I have to have all of your time cards, all 14 of you submitted by this date.
Okay.
So does that make sense? So like you'll ignore this date. Do not listen to that.
You'll have another day. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Super emphasizing it because that's been a huge problem in the past is people submitting it too late. And it is not fun. And sometimes if you submit it too late and I can't approve it in time, you will not get paid until the following month. And that's not ideal. Yeah, that sucks. So I think that's everything about time entry. Oh, and this right here, this 2 hours approximately, however long it will take, you will get paid for it. So once you have that student employee tile and you can put in your hours as a tutor, make sure you give yourself 2 hours to be paid for this time that we're spending together. And the other thing to remember, the big no-no for students that this was what I was told back in spring. I'm assuming it's still very true for fall. Do not submit your when you're supposed to be in class. So if your Insight class schedule says you're Monday, Wednesday, 11 to 2 in class, you should not be working 11 to 2 Mondays and Wednesdays. It will be, you will have your time bounce back and it won't be approved. So
I'm sorry, Brittany, but like I cut off again.
No.
I just heard like do not submit and then like just nothing.
Oh, darn internet. Oh, it was so good on Friday too. Okay. So what I was saying was do not submit hours that are during the time you're supposed to be in class.
Okay.
So if you have class Monday, Wednesday, 2 to 3 p.m., you should definitely not be working that time to begin with, but do not submit your hours because they will not be approved at the payroll level and they will be bounced back and those hours will not be approved and therefore they will be late and you won't get paid for them and that's just very frustrating. So just make sure, like that's why I want your class schedule.
Yeah.
I will like do a quick summary in a couple minutes, but like I want your class schedule just so I can have it saved in like a file for me to double check your time rolls against. And so I can be like, okay, your time entry, you accidentally like said you worked 1 to 2 on Wednesday. This is when you have class, like, and I'll let you know. Or if I can, I'll change it myself. But like, I'll let you know, like, this is wrong.
Okay.
So that's literally everything I can think about with the student employee tab. The big deal is to make sure that you have your position in the time entry and that you even have the tab to begin with. And that's how you'll know you got approved for the position.
So right now, like we currently don't have it, like the new hires.
I haven't gotten an email that you all were sent to the district office for approval, but you are very much welcome to go onto Insight and check and see if you have a file. You're in my system though, like I can see your name and I can see like if I go into me approving all of you in my employee one, I can see all of your names there, which means like your paperwork was submitted and it was put into the system in some capacity. I just don't know if that capacity was finalized, if that makes sense, to the point that your student employee tab is available to you. Okay. So double check that, look, and if you have the student employee tab and I just never got that confirmation email, that would be fine with me. I'm happy with that. But yeah, so I will keep my eyes peeled for payroll letting me know though, if you don't have it. So this document, this is what your, why does this say by supervisor? This should be your self-evaluation. That was labeled wrong. Let me double check real quick. because that's weird. It's definitely,
oh, no wonder it's going out. It slowed down heck of all of a sudden. Yeah, see, this is like
There's like two,
it's supposed to look
correct?
like, yeah, so the tutor evaluation is the one I would be doing. The self one is the one you're supposed to have. And for some reason, the self-evaluation, it's supposed to look like this. It's like the same thing, but it's supposed to say self-evaluation.
I see it on the doc that you sent, the email.
Gives you enough time to figure out, like, hopefully you might know when your first exam is. And so I'll give you time to, like, let me know what the best week is for you. So I'll re-email this to you. It's student worker self-evaluation. So student worker or tutor. You'll put your name on here. I'll try to make this a fillable PDF so you don't have to print it. I'll turn it into a fillable PDF, so all of this will be things you can click on and fill out. So it'll be your name. The date of evaluation you can just leave blank unless we have that date when you fill this out. And this is for yourself. You'll write, do you feel that you have initiative? You can write, I think I'm satisfactory. I think I'm above average. I think I'm outstanding. I think I'm something else. And you can write comments. And this is what we're looking at. Initiative. So then taking the initiative to check in with us or be a tutor or go on Discord, that sort of stuff. The follow through. So if we ask you to do something, you're following through with students, you're following through with a project or something, if we ask you to do something, or emailing or whatever. Flexibility, punctuality and dependability. If you're focused on tasks, like say I come in and I check in and like the whole time I'm in that setting, I see you only looking down at your own schoolwork and I never see you checking in with people. Well, I'm gonna write down, like, in my opinion, that might not be so satisfactory, you know?
Yeah.
Ability to work with others. Again, like this is a little bit hard because we are not in person, so it's weird. But yeah, so you'll do yourself what you think. You'll add them up. So if you said needs improvement for every single thing, it'd be a 7. Satisfactory would be 8 to 14. Above average would be 15 to 21, and outstanding would be 22 to 28. And the idea behind this is I don't want you to be like harsh on yourself. I want you to be realistic and positive with yourself. And because we're always our worst critics, so actually this tends, your self-evaluations tend to be lower than your actual evaluations by us, which is interesting. So we tend to be like our worst critics, and this is director signature. It should probably say program assistant signature because most likely this will be with me. But anyway, I doubt you'll need a 1 for everything. Maybe there is something you'll need a 1 on, and that's totally okay, but there's no reason anyone should be putting 7s for themselves. It should definitely be in this range. And in my opinion, all of you are at least somewhere around here. Rarely should you just be satisfactory. But this is about what you think about yourself, and it's in this area right here, if you feel like it's not applicable, like you're like, flexibility, that's not really applicable. I didn't have to be flexible about anything. You can write that, like right here, NA, I don't feel that it was relevant.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's about what you think. So that's it on that. The only other thing that you'll submit to me that we were talking about at the beginning is the responsibilities and expectations. This is also the Corona edition because it is about, here we go, it talks about Jibble and the Google Sheet and stuff. So it talks about all this stuff, and so this is a fillable PDF, the one I sent you. The signature, for some reason, did not save. Ignore the signature, just do your date and name. It doesn't have to be signed. Okay, so we talked about Jibble, we talked about, okay, the only things we haven't talked about are these 2 things. So let me go over this first. All right, so nearly there. I'm saying it for your sake because I feel like it's so much information. So for this, like, you'll go to yourself and you're right here. It should be alphabetical order by first name. And say you are doing a tutor on the 3rd. You don't need to do like 2020. It's up to you. You can do it whatever way you want. Say you had 2 tuties, and then the 2 tuties are Veronica and Kevin. And then you also had 3 visitors. And let's say they weren't there for very long, or you were busy tutoring, so you only caught like one of their names. Only one was like someone, or maybe like, I don't know, you don't know them, you're not sure. So you could say like, I only remember one person. That's okay. Maybe you remember 2. Or maybe awesome, super, super cool if you did remember all 3. I'm just putting random names here. That would be super cool. But it's okay if you don't. We recognize that the most likely to remember would be the people you actually tutor, because you're most likely to see their name and talk to them the most. So it'd be awesome if you could get their names. This would be super cool, at least the number. The names would be awesome, but again, don't stress about it. The reason we're even asking you, well, one, we're asking you to keep track of this part so we know if your time is being best utilized. The reason this would be helpful too is the whole Zoom learning space is one of the ways we're going to keep track of MESA in good standing. And did you see the email about MESA in good standing on Canvas?
Yeah, I read it.
Awesome. So you saw the 5 ways.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the ways. And so I'm going to try to log in and be on there and keep track of people when I can. But again, I have a lot of other things I'm doing. So it's really, we're going to rely on you all to be keeping track of this. And again, I recommend doing it every single day. What I told everyone is you don't have to like put them in this log every single day if that's like not convenient. But what would be cool is just keep a piece of paper on your desk. And again, you can like, first name is good enough unless like say like, okay, Kisamaga, like that's a really unique name. But like say Daniel or Chris, like those are less unique names. So like Chris P, there's only like one Chris, like most of the times if you give even an initial, that's good. But if literally their name is just Chris and they don't have anything else on the Zoom, and you don't have the time to ask them like, what's your last name? It's fine. Like we'll just make the assumption that it's a Chris, and maybe we'll give credit to both Chris's. Like it's not the end of the world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's everything about that. Oh yeah, the piece of paper. So keep a piece of paper. I'm sorry, getting distracted. Keep a piece of paper by your desk maybe, or like you could open a Word document or a Google document, whatever is easiest for you. And you could also just like super quickly type like, you know, the date and then like the people, and like keep your own log if that's faster for you. Because I know like for me, like I like to write things. So I tend to like have paper around or like notepads or something. If that's easier for you than this link, feel free to do that. Just try to find a way that works for you, and then ultimately each week or each month input here.
Okay.
Yeah, but this hopefully is set up easy enough for all of you to use.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Right, so, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Awesome. So I'm gonna show you like, yeah, all of these are the same, but I'll go to Veronica's because she has more of them closer together. So yours looks like this. I'll show you yours in a second, but this part's probably blank. So what I would like you to do is to do AV. You don't need to put it in red. Like Veronica didn't put it in red and I filled it in red later. It's cool if you fill it in red too. It makes it really bold for me. And this is for my sake because I'm using this preferred schedule to make your tutor schedule. So like obviously I need to know like what you're available, but this is really about like what you want to work. Like maybe you're not a morning person, so even if you're available at 9 a.m., you're like, I don't really want to tutor until like 1 p.m. So this is for you to create what your ideal schedule would be, and then give me the maximum hours you want to work. So like Veronica wrote, she doesn't want to work more than 4 or 5 hours a week. And this isn't guaranteed. Like you saying I want to work 4 to 5 hours a week, I might only be able to give, I don't know, like I have to go over the budget with Matri and the schedule. So ultimately, sometimes our budget's pretty good, but like sometimes maybe it's not good enough for us to give you like all 10 hours, which is what a lot of people want and what we want to give you if we could. And again, that's why the federal work study I highly recommend, because then we can give you whatever you want. But like realistically, we might only be able to give you 5 hours, not 10 hours, you know? So we'll do our best to give you as close to your max that you want. And it definitely will be during the preferred times. But just keep that in mind, because unfortunately, it's like, you know, unfortunately, we don't have an endless budget. But yeah, so this is what I would like you to do, is just put the available where you are available and what you want to work, and just make sure it works out well. And this is I like the Google Sheet, because then you can go back and edit it if something changes later. Yeah, here's yours, and it's all set up for you to go. And I'm setting up that we're gonna have the Zoom Learning Space open 9 to 7 Monday through Friday. It'll be closed. I mean, people might use that link, but it'll be closed technically on Saturday and Sunday, and before 9 and after 7, unless we have a special event that goes later. But so that's kind of like to structure yourself. It's half-hour increments, because I find that to be the easiest for students to look at. Like the 15-minute thing is like a little too much, so we prefer to start and end on half hours.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you get it. Straightforward. Yeah. Okay, so to recap, give me your preferred schedule. Give me your class schedule once it's like relatively finalized. Because I know like some students were saying like it just says online, it doesn't actually give them a time. So if you ran into that with your schedule, you know, like the first week of school next week, hopefully you'll get your syllabus and they'll let you know if you do have like required lecture times, and you'll be able to give me like a class schedule that that you create or Insight will show, and that will be able to help me make sure that that I can check against the timesheet and make sure that this makes sense.
Okay.
As well. Then lastly, you'll fill out the tutor form, and you will just do your name and date. It's just the PDF version, and you'll give that to me, the tutor agreement. And then don't stress about the probationary evaluation until like a few weeks from now, because I'll tell you about it, and don't stress about it until then.
Okay.
That's everything. If I get an email from payroll saying the new hires are in, I will directly email all of you and say, yay, you should be able to see it on your Insight in the next like 72 hours, and I'll let you know, and that's what I'm hoping to get an email about soon. But you're welcome to check now and see if it's there, and let me, and if it is there, you could email me and be like, hey, or text me, either one. You have my phone number and email, and say like, hey, I am on the Insight, I can put in hours, and I'll be like, that's perfect, you're good to go, you can start. You know, I'm hoping that you can all start the second week of school, which is what we normally do. And
okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask that, like when do we start tutoring? Like when does it all become like official? Like we get our schedules and just like start? You said the second week.
so my goal is to get everything from you on Friday the 28th. I'm hoping that's the finalized date. I need everything from you, like your class schedule, your preferred schedule, your tutor agreement form. I need all of that by Friday the 28th, which is the first Friday of the school year. And then my goal is to create it over the weekend and send it out to you guys, and hopefully have you guys start on like Tuesday, September 1st. That's my goal. So that you're all starting September 1st through 30th, and then you get your October 10th paycheck. That's my goal, because that's usually, for new hires, usually your first paycheck will be October 10th, and just because we start so late in August, and we don't ever tutor the first week of school, since people are still trying to figure out their schedules, and you're still trying to figure out your schedule, and we don't want you to feel stressed.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that was, I threw a lot of information at you. The positive is that this has been shared with you. The 2D Google Sheet has been shared with you, so you should have those links. I'm just going to click on this. You should be able to eventually see a student employee blue tab that allows you to do that. And then this you have to fill out, just date and name, and send to me. And that's that thing. Close you out. Okay, so that's everything. So, and the other positive is this whole orientation, which was like 90% of the information I told you. I just added a bunch of stuff verbally to it, but like the gist of it is in this orientation PowerPoint, and I emailed that to you all. So you should, I know you have that email, or you should have that email because you saw the other paperwork. So in that email should be the PowerPoint, and hopefully you should be able to open it without problem, and be able to look at it if you need it. And then hopefully this recording saves, and you can always watch this recording on an unlisted YouTube. And I'll cut all the parts from the beginning that was just you and I talking about your own about your financial aid situation.
Okay.
Let me stop sharing. Okay. I'm sorry, the chat didn't come through.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's my end because my internet's always kind of spotty, so I don't know.
I'm sharing internet with 2 other people right now, so don't worry. Like, it's been rough a little bit here.